It's official. Jiren Keawe Sagapolutele, who entered the transfer portal just a few days ago, has recommitted to Cal, the team he was originally committed to before flipping on signing day to Oregon. So what does this mean for Jiren and the Cal Golden Bears? We will talk about it right after this. Before we jump in and talk about Cal and Jiren, please hit that like and subscribe button if you like what we are doing here at Campus 2 Canton. We are trying to get to 5,000 subs by the start of the college football season so we can continue to spread the good word of college fantasy football. We need your help to do that. We appreciate and love all the support that you guys give us. All right, Jiren Keawe Sagapolutele had just recently entered the portal. So obviously, I'll talk. Committed to Cal for months upon months, ends up flipping on signing day to go to Oregon, played at James Campbell High School. Fairly decent stats throughout his time there at James Campbell High School as well in Hawaii. It's listed at 6'2", 217. Ends up flipping to Oregon on signing day. Was kind of a big deal, big flip. Had a really good senior year. Was fairly impressive at the Elite 11 finals. Left-handed quarterback, big size, strong arm. So everybody thought, Cal got their quarterback of the future, right? Flips at Oregon. Goes, signs up, is at school, goes to practices at the Rose Bowl, and decides, you know what? It's not for me. Enters the transfer portal, ends up coming to Cal. Now, a lot of the reports are that he wanted to start as a true freshman. That's likely going to happen here. Cal literally has nobody we're talking about from the quarterback position on the roster. So chances are Jiren is going to step right in and be the starter right off the bat here for the Cal Golden Bears. What does that mean for the team around him, though, before we talk about Jiren as a player? It's going to be interesting. Their leading receiver last year, Mikey Matthews, entered the portal along with a couple other players, but some that just kind of were bit players. The other two top receiving weapons for them were wide receiver Jonathan Brady and tight end Jack Andrews. Both those guys are back. So that's a good thing for Jiren because Jiren can sling the ball. So getting both of those back. Also, Trond Grizzle is back as well. He was kind of like the third wide receiver in there. And right now, we have not heard if Jaden Ott is going to the NFL. I think at this point, if he is not committed to going to any of the Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl games, or said he's going to the NFL draft, he's going to be back, which is another good thing for Jiren because that gives him a receiving weapon out of the backfield and just an all-around stud at the running back position who can help lead that offense. So with all that being said, he's going to come in and have at least some weapons around him. Jiren as a player, in our athleticism database, if you were to go onto the website, he has a .80 comparison rating to one former Cal quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. And I do think some of that is there. The arm talent, the arm strength is there. I don't think he has the mobility that Aaron Rodgers has. For me, he's more of a Big Ben Roethlisberger. Now, Big Ben was even still a little bit more of a rushing threat than Jiren is, although we saw a little bit more of that from Jiren in his senior season. He comes in, though, with a .968 athleticism score in our database. And just to give you guys an idea, any or most of the quarterbacks in the NFL who have produced high-end fantasy seasons are at least an 85 or above. There's a few outliers in there, but that's what you're typically looking for. So he comes in again with a .968. That's a really good athleticism score. Played 3 sports, not only football, basketball. He was a track star as well. Comes in with a 56 ball velo. So for those of you who don't know what that is, we track how far and how hard quarterbacks can throw the ball. Typically, anything 60 and above is elite, and I would say anywhere in the 53 to 55 range is average. So he's slightly above average, and I think he's a little bit better than that as well. His senior season, there was a lot of very impressive throws on his tape. When you look at Jiren, in my opinion, you could argue he is one of the best pocket manipulation skills in the entire class. His ability to step up and avoid defenders or flush out and get the ball out of his hands is extremely impressive. He never seems flustered back there, and again, just knows how to maneuver within the pocket to avoid taking big sacks. He can throw the ball all over the field as well. He's got a strong enough arm that he challenges all 3 levels of the field. I don't think he really loses any velocity the further down the field we get. And he did have some pretty nice throws where he was just dropping the ball in the bucket to his wide receivers down the field. Almost in that like Russell Wilson, Justin Fields moonshot kind of arc, just throws it beautiful, lands right in for his wide receivers. I don't think he puts as much arc on it as those two do. but he's got an incredible arm. He has shown the ability to throw with some touch in the center parts of the field as well, in the short and intermediate parts over linebackers in the middle of the field. I've seen him lead wide receivers as well. He throws with great anticipation at times, whether it's wide receivers breaking out toward the sideline and throwing it toward the sideline where only the wide receiver can get it, or even some in the middle of the field when the wide receiver breaks and he's got that very small window between when the linebacker is going to get there, when the safety is going to come crashing down, and he hits his wide receiver. Overall, I think Jiren, in all honesty, is one of the more polished quarterback recruits in this class. He is my quarterback 6 in the class. He is, as right now, Campus to Canton's quarterback 8. You can find out more about him when we release our freshman supplemental guide on March 1st if you want to read all about what our write-up says on him and the overall thoughts of him as an athletic player. But I think this is a great get for Cal. They've got a quarterback of the future. I think he starts day 1 for Cal next season and is going to play 3 years for them, and I think is a player who has NFL upside. Again, he's not small. There's a big boy we're talking about here, listed at 6'2", 217. I think he's going to be able to go in there and kind of run this offense efficiently. And Justin Wilcox's offense have not been, bad when it comes to at least a passing perspective. Over the past couple years, he's passed it close to 50% of the time in neutral game skip situations. Obviously, Fernando Mendoza had some to do with that this last year, but upwards for the most part of a 42+% pass success rate and explosiveness in the 1.4, 1.6, even 1.7 just a couple years ago. And about 1.3 is the college football average. So he's gone pretty far above that in pass explosiveness. Well, now you have a player who can really open things up down the field. Again, I think bringing back Jaden on is going to help this offense. Having Jack Andrees back at tight end, who's, I believe, the second or third leading receiving weapon on this team. Jonathan Brady, Tron Grizzle. I think Jaren's going to be in for a good year, and I think Cal is going to be as well. I know they had a fairly tough year last year overall. Finished 6-7. I think they could bounce back. I mean, the ACC, I think, is one of those conferences that is up for grabs. I don't know that they'll compete for the ACC title in year 1 with Jiren, but I do think that they can do that within his time at Cal. Cal Golden Bear fans, how do you guys feel about landing a high-end 4-star quarterback in Jaron Keawe Sagapolutele? Let me know down in the comments, and we will talk to you guys again soon.